Hey everybody, it's me again. I don't know if watching me bounce around is the best experience, but I don't have much else to show you. So I'm going to wait a few seconds as people log in. I'll give you some of the details. I'll cover what I already covered on Twitter to start. Really nice day for the receivers overall. It was great to see Douglas McNeil, tall, lanky, strong, made some nice catches today. Interesting to see Kevin Norwood, a guy that some people have some questions about and whether he's going to be around. He got some snaps with the number one unit today, made a really nice catch along the sideline, outside his frame, over his head, got his feet down before he went out of bounds. So really nice to see, him getting a chance. I think he's a really solid all-around receiver. And by the way, folks, on questions, I will try to get to questions by the time I get to my car. But it's hard for me to walk and read questions, so sorry about that. Anyway, Norwood solid all around. Tyler Lockett got less time with the ones today. I wouldn't read too much into that. I think that the rotating guys in, they're kind of seeing where they fit. For example, today we saw Chris Matthews, all 6'5" of him, playing slot receiver, and I talked to a few of the guys before. I think he's going to get some chances there. So they're going to play around with how he can be used. Another guy today that had a nice practice, definitely toward the end, Kevin Smith, 17. Guy's a really solid receiver, undrafted guy, another University of Washington guy. I don't know where he'll be able to fit on the team. So he's doing really well. He's even back to last year was an interesting player. We'll see if he can make get a foothold on special teams. Jimmy Graham, once again, dude, the guy's everywhere. He's huge. Nobody can cover him. I haven't seen anybody truly cover Jimmy Graham yet in the 2 days I've watched. I'll be eager to see pads on, right? Like, physical play is what the Seahawks have been able to do against him to slow him down. You can't get that physical when you're playing in shells, but, as just far as pure athleticism and ability, the guy is way, way, way up there. No surprises there, and all the quarterbacks look to him. Speaking of quarterbacks, minor point, but R.J. Archer, he's a better player than I gave him credit for. I can see why the Seahawks waited to sign Tavares Jackson, see if maybe Archer could be their guy. He throws a nice ball. I've seen a lot of pretty crappy quarterbacks come through here. I would not call him a crappy quarterback. Seems like he's a guy that has some potential. I don't think he's a guy that could develop into a franchise quarterback, but he might be backup material for some team. Threw some nice balls today. T-Jack actually looked fine. Throws as well as he ever has, and actually got outside and ran a little bit, and still has the legs to do that. What I was looking for primarily today, when I talked about teased on Twitter, is really getting into that nickel rotation and also figuring out the interior lineman who's playing what positions. So the nickel defensive line, I'm really curious about. That's Cliff Avril. He's on. So it goes Cliff Avril, Jordan Hill, Michael Bennett, and then Bruce Irvin. So that was good to see. That was consistent. I saw that throughout. Then the second level nickel defensive line was interesting as well. That was Cassius Marsh in place of Avril, Greg Scruggs in place of Jordan Hill, Frank Clark in place of Michael Bennett, and Obum Gwacham in place of Bruce Irvin. So, Obum Gwacham got a lot more reps today, and, I didn't see anything. He looks like a special athlete. I didn't see anything special production-wise out of him, and that's kind of what I'm expecting, but the coaches clearly want to see what he can do, and so they're giving him some chances. Clark on the inside, he looks a little small, honestly, to be playing inside. I know he's the same weight roughly as Bennett, but he looks a little short. I'll have to go back and check his height, but he just looks shorter, squattier. He looks strong. He looks reasonably quick. So, again, that's a guy I want to see with pads, but they played him Frank Clark got a lot of reps inside today. He did not get as many reps at the 5 technique. 5 technique really seems to be a Greg Scruggs kind of thing right now. After Michael Bennett, it goes to Greg Scruggs. So I think Scruggs looks solid. The other thing I wanted to know is Ataba Rubin. Everybody thinks Ataba Rubin was signed as a hedge against Brandon Mebane. Here's this big 330-pound guy. Excuse me while I run across the street, guys. And you assume that big guy's got to be the backup nose tackle. The reality is, I think he's a better 3 technique based on what I saw in Cleveland. He's not particularly stout against the run. He's a little bit more of a mover, even though he's big. And it turned out to be true. So what I saw is that DeAnthony Smith was backing up Brandon Mebane at the nose, and Ataba Rubin was backing up Tony McDaniel at 3 tech. So that doesn't mean that's only the place he'll play, but it does mean that that's likely the primary place that they're looking at him. And now that I'm starting to get the depth charts filled out after the first couple practices, you know, I'll be able to watch a little bit more often for when they change things up. But you know, it really looks like Rubin is that backup 3 technique. And man, there's a play today where I think one of the running backs broke outside in team drills, and you just see Rubin and, you know, all 330 pounds of him just motoring. The guy does move really well for a guy that size. My friends that follow the Browns have told me that, you know, he's not necessarily as good as you hope he is. So, you know, I'm limiting my expectations, but at least he looks like a guy that's going to work hard. He's got size, and I've got a lot of confidence in the Seahawks' ability to put, you know, players in position to be their best. Let's see, what else? So watched a little bit on the cornerbacks as well to find out who was backing people up. It looks like the person behind Kerry Williams at outside corner is Will Blackman. So he essentially is the 3rd corner. He's the guy that would come in after Will Blackman based on the guys they have there right now. Also saw a fair amount of Ty Smith today, draft pick number 22. Right now he looks like a guy. I can't say that there's anything that got my attention in terms of impressive play. He had decent coverage on one route, but he then held the guy to break it up and got a flag called. You know, I'm just looking. He doesn't stand out physically. He's not tall, like that tall. He's about 6 feet, but he's not necessarily that fast. So I just have to watch him a little bit more, see if you know, I haven't given him enough time to really get a good read on him. Usually with corners in this system, I'm able to see pretty quickly guys that I think are going to be interesting fits. You know, for right now, he doesn't meet that criteria yet. Let's see, who else? Well, let's take some questions. I'm almost back to my car, so let me know what you guys want to know, and I'll get at it. Questions? Thanks for all the hearts. I appreciate that. I will give you some information on running backs. I think I saw one question on Christian Michael. Yeah, there's one on Christian Michael. Christian Michael's been great. I think I am definitely in Michael's camp. So, sorry as I get into my car here. Give me 1 second, folks. Michael looks incredibly explosive. He's working hard. He's doing what you expect him to do. I'm going to have to turn on the car and the AC in here, so apologies if it's hard to hear me after I do that. All right. So, Christian Michael looked great. You know, Turbin got first reps after Marshawn Lynch. Don't really remember seeing Thomas Rawls today. I have to go back and look at my notes, but I don't know if he was out today. I'll have to check some other people, but I don't remember seeing anything. I saw Rod Smith, but I did not see Thomas Rawls. And then Frank Clark, there was a question on Frank Clark. I talked about him a little bit earlier. played inside. He also played some special teams. So there's some great special teams drills they did today. It's clear they're trying to get Frank Clark in on special teams. He moves well in space. They were doing a drill where they punt the ball, or they fake a punt essentially downfield. One of the punt returners gets it, and there's two guys coming from the outside that converge and try to, keep him from getting outside their containment and also not getting in between them. It's a little hard to describe, but anyway, Clark has to break down, hold the guy inside, and not let him get too far inside. And Clark moved really well. Marsh actually moved really well. I saw there a question about Chris Matthews and whether he looks like the same guy from the Super Bowl. I would say that it's really hard to say anything like that. I wouldn't say he looks dominant. I think, though, that if you look at a guy that is 6'5", he's still going to be 6'5", and if he's playing short corners, he's still going to be able to make those plays. I saw a question on Ataba Rubin. No notable plays so far. Just what I said before, he moves well, so I'm interested to see what happens there. And then I think I saw another question come up. Sorry, I missed it. But what was it about? Flashed by. Cassius Marsh. Cassius Marsh played, I think the guy's got a ton of talent. If he can stay healthy, I think he's finally in a position. Okay, Justin Britt, I will get to that in a second. I think Cassius Marsh has got the potential to be a starter. I think he's definitely got the potential to be a 5 to 6 sack guy, this year. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. He is exclusively working on the outside, and he's not working at linebacker. He's only working at Leo, essentially backing up Cliff Avril, and he seems to be the backup for Cliff Avril. Justin Britt, I did not get to watch many 1v1 pass drills today from the vantage point I had, so that was not easy to see. I will tell you what I saw yesterday didn't give me a lot of confidence that there's a lot more and different about Justin Britt from a pass protection standpoint. I didn't hear anything about Anthony McCoy getting hurt, so I'll have to defer to other people on that. I didn't see anything. And there was a question that flashed up there. Yep, Jimmy definitely dominated again. Kearse, it's hard to say. Kearse just really is a good receiver, and I think he's pretty firmly in with the number ones, and I think someone's going to have to really push him out. And I can't say there's a guy that obviously to me is pushing him out through 2 practices. We'll see how this evolves. When they get down to cut down, and, maybe that comes into play, but if I had to bet on it right now, I'd say Kearse makes the team. And that might seem silly to kind of hedge on that, but I do think that, he's got no guaranteed money and $2.3 million against the cap, and there might be other younger guys they want to bring along. Kerry Williams, he looks fine. I wouldn't say he stands out one way or the other. He had one play, though, today where had some nice coverage, I noticed, and give him credit for that. And another play, he got beat. I think you got to give it a little more time before I say more about him. I do think Ricardo Lockett seems like a guy that's going to have a hard time making this team. I would say I'd be surprised at this point if he'd make the team. He's definitely down on the wide receiver depth chart. We know what he can do on special teams, but I do wonder if there's going to be some other guys that can do what he does as well. There's some pretty good speed there. And folks, I think that is, I'll give you one more. This is a good Alvin Bailey, question, and then I got to run. But I did see in 1v1 pass rushing drills Alvin Bailey against Michael Bennett, and Bailey stoned him. And not a lot of guys stoned Michael Bennett, so that was nice to see. There was a fight. You may have heard about it. Bruce Irvin and Russell Okung got into it. They had to be separated day 2, so that's good to see. Anyway, thank you guys all for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll send you more then, and I'll write notes up with more details this afternoon or evening. Take care. Go Hawks.